there's something I forgot to mention about this particular video, and that is that the interviewer asked Tyson Fury, why do you think it is that Anthony Joshua gets more credit for his win over Klitschko than you get for your win over Klitschko? Which is a question that has been asked about 10 million times before. But thankfully, because Shane, Tyson Fury's brother, was there, we didn't get the same old answer that we would normally get when Tyson Fury is asked that question. Because normally, Tyson would say, well, because the press is all on Joshua's you-know-what, because Eddie Hearn this, Eddie Hearn that, or if Tyson's dad, John, was there, it might be, well, because of his background, he's a gypsy, and they don't want to see a gypsy win, and, you know, they'll never give a gypsy as much credit as they would if he was from some council estate in Peckham and all this kind of stuff. That's the usual answer that you would get from Tyson or his dad, John. You basically wouldn't get any kind of objectivity. But with Shane, he's a straight shooter, it seems. Okay? Shane says, in answer to the interviewer's question, he says the reason that people give Joshua more credit is because Joshua's fight against Klitschko was a much better fight. He says quite openly and honestly, Tyson's fight against Klitschko wasn't a good fight. He said Tyson put on a good performance and did his job, but it wasn't a good fight. And so obviously people are going to be more excited for a war, which is what Joshua Klitschko was, than for a boring fight. That's Tyson's own brother Shane keeping it real, because that is the main reason why there was so much fuss over Joshua's win over Klitschko compared to Fury's win over Klitschko, where there was a little less fuss. There was still press attention. He still got credit. And I don't think credit is really what people are trying to compare here, because Tyson Fury got plenty of credit for beating Klitschko. He didn't get as much, that, you know, there wasn't as much hype around his win as there was around Joshua's win. But hype is different than credit. Hype is just excitement, you know, people talking about it and all this kind of stuff. And as I say, the main reason is because Joshua's fight was a lot more exciting. Both guys were on the floor. It was a great heavyweight fight. That's why there was so much hype and excitement around it, you know, after the fight. And also the fact that Anthony Joshua is more famous than Tyson Fury. He's got, well, he certainly did then. He had a bigger promoter behind him. He was a much bigger name in the UK. So if you're more famous, then, you know, there's going to be more hype around things you do, particularly if you're in exciting fights. So again, I appreciate Shane Fury's honesty here. And look, he is going to stick up for his brother. He's going to be critical of Eddie Hearn and all that kind of stuff, which is fair enough, because Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua are not people who should be above criticism. But at the same time, he just appears to be a little more of a straight shooter than Tyson when it comes to answering questions about Tyson's career, where Tyson likes to play the victim a lot of the time. And yes, he is victimized to a certain extent, but a lot of the issues in his career are down to the decisions that he's made rather than people picking on him. You know, not everything, but a lot of the things. I mean, as far as his gypsy heritage causing people to discriminate against him, there's definitely an element of that. But just as there is discrimination against gypsies in the UK, because I've seen that plenty of times in my life, there's also discrimination against black people. And Joshua's black. So Tyson is often not really candid and honest with himself and with other people about everything that's gone on in his career in terms of why he's got into certain situations. He likes to try and play the victim all the time rather than taking responsibility. And again, I have to reiterate, to a certain extent, there are people in the UK who don't want Tyson Fury to succeed, or they just don't like him because he's a gypsy. There's no question. But it's the same for Joshua. I'm sure there are people in the UK who don't like Joshua because he's black. They'd rather see, you know, in fact, I'm sure there are people who support Tyson Fury because he's white and don't support Joshua because he's black. I'm sure there are people like that too. But overall, if we're looking at the big picture, the reason why Joshua is bigger than Tyson Fury is because Joshua's got the women on his side. He's been marketed towards women because he's been in exciting fights. I mean, not so much his last two, but prior to that, he's been in a lot of exciting fights. He's been marketed towards women. And he's got the biggest promoter, by far the biggest promoter in the UK behind him, and the biggest boxing broadcaster in the UK behind him in Sky Sports. This is why Joshua's been, and also because Joshua is a media trained, politically correct. I was going to say a yes man. I guess in terms of the media, he is a yes man. All right. Joshua is politically correct. He doesn't give any opinions publicly that are not corporate friendly, you know? And because he plays that game, that's why he's in the position that he's in. And that's why Tyson Fury is not in that position. That's the reality of it. And as I say, with regards to the Klitschko fight, Joshua's fight against Klitschko, all the reasons I've just stated, on top of the fact that Joshua's fight against Klitschko was far more exciting than Fury's fight against Klitschko. That's the reality. Yeah. Anyway, drop your comments in the comment section below. Just wanted to make sure I talked about this element of this interview because I hadn't previously mentioned it. So yeah, let me know how you feel, people. It's happening. I'm out.